Some of them. Oh, whoops! I can't play this. Oh, stop. All right.
The entire book or the chapter?
No, just the chapters we've done.
Oh,
I'll give you
okay.
a list of things. Yeah. Let's see. First day of exams, Thursday. Morning. All right. We'll talk about it. I'll put it information. I'll give you guys a PDF to talk about it. I'm still, there will be like the grammar questions similar to what we do on the quizzes for the final. It'll be a short writing, or not short, but a short essay. So, being able to write paragraphs and thesis statements and things like that. So, and then your grade is also with your attendance, participation, and with the assignments. So if you've done the assignments, then you'll be good. All right. Yeah, we're almost done. So it's week 16. Today's Cinco de Mayo, right? Does anybody know what Cinco de Mayo is, or what it means? In Spanish, it is the 5th of May. Oh, you don't know? Okay, so it's like a holiday in the U.S., and it celebrates a weird battle between the French and the Mexican, and it wasn't the revolution, or it wasn't a Independence Day. That's in September, I think. But it's some day, and they chose it because it's 5/5, and it's now just a drinking holiday, like kind of like St. Patrick's Day is a strange drinking holiday in the United States. It doesn't really celebrate it's not, even St. Patrick's Day is not celebrated in Ireland like this huge day. But I don't know. Same with Valentine's Day, like it was not originally a holiday. St. Patrick is the saint of Ireland. Yeah, of Ireland. And then there was St. Valentine's, and that wasn't a holiday until the companies in America wanted to sell flowers and chocolate. So there's a lot of holidays that are like now just about money, all right, so yeah, summer's coming, and we need to talk a little bit about conditionals. So I'll give you some more information about conditionals. We won't be able to talk about it fully, but if you could do anything this summer, what would you do? Anything, okay? So, and if you already have a plan, wonderful, okay? But if you could do anything, what would you do? If you could do anything, what would you do? And if you could use the grammar, okay, let me write it. If I could do anything, what would you say? I would. If I could do anything, I would. I don't know. I would take a road trip across the United States. You got the would, the could. Try to write it out like that if you can. We'll talk about the second conditional. Just do a mini lesson today. While you're doing that. Pass these out. I liked it. Topic sentence. There's lots of marks, but I liked it. Morning. Fine, thank you. Sorry. There we go. Thank you very much. What? Oh, nice. Okay, so you use the third conditional. Nice. Has it happened already, Feisha? It happened already.
Sorry?
The house movement.
Yeah. It's true. I'm just planning.
Oh, so
If I would have done,
no. So what you wrote was in the past.
in the future, I would like to see.
Yeah. So if
Should be
if I finish or something, if I do my housework, house movement before July.
if I do.
Yeah. If I can, something like that. So right now it sounds like the past, like a regret. Which is good. Thank you. Love your writings. God, I like your writings. Thank you. I got a lot of journals. Great. I will go. This one is if I had. So this is what past. Perfect. Nice. If I could. So one is, that's an interesting. I have traveled to Brazil to visit my family and my dog. If I do anything, it would go scuba diving. Nice. If I have enough time, I might go to Colorado, San Diego. I like to sleep all day like an animal hibernation, do nothing. Nice comment. Oh, me too. Would be the other thing I would like to do. If I could do anything, I would stay a week in International Space Station. The Mir Space Station? Is that a dream? Yeah. Anybody else want to go to space? If you could go to space. If I could do anything this summer, I would travel to Peaceful Beach. If I have enough time, I might go. If I could do anything, I would travel to clear my mind a little and give my mind some peace. If I could do anything, I would take a trip around the United States with my family. Already in my plans, definitely. Nice. We'll talk more about this, but yeah. Yeah. I just want to drive. I like driving.
Yeah. How many hours? How many times to walk across?
Across the United States?
Yeah.
Across the entire country? Ooh. I don't know. It takes some people like 1 week.
1 week?
Yeah. I think it's like 5,000 miles or something. What is the distance from California, let's say, to New York? Oh, what am I doing? Just use Google Maps. Let's go to New York. City. From Saddleback. Let's go. So if you could drive.
ESL340, go.
Go, yeah, from here. It would take you 41 hours. Oh, it's not 5,000 miles. What do I? It's 5,000 kilometers? 41 hours? Huh. I thought it was longer. Sorry. I'm mistaken. So 2,784 miles, apparently. How many days would that take you? Just, I guess.
4 or 5. 2, 3.
Could be 2 days if you didn't stop, if you didn't sleep. If you had enough coffee, you could do anything. Right? If you had enough coffee, you could drive forever, I guess. Can't live without coffee. I think the furthest I've ever driven was to Calgary from Irvine. So that was 22 hours, 1,000. So it's kind of central Canada. Very beautiful. These beautiful mountains up there. Yeah, and I got to drive through Nevada, Utah, parts of Idaho, Montana. It was really boring. I mean, there's nothing on the road. There's like absolutely, it's just fields and beautiful clouds. Okay, I think Idaho had just like beautiful clouds, but it was long. And I went with a friend, and we almost killed each other. So. I think it's hard to find a good road trip partner or a travel partner. What is an important thing about what makes a good travel partner, in your opinion? They drive very fast. They do? Okay, if they drive fast, if they're a good driver, okay, that's important. Okay, bad driver, no. What else? Yeah, patient.
I was driving. When I was driving, the person should be very patient.
Yeah, I think they should be helpful. Or they should just go to sleep. I don't care. I like it when the person just sleeps the whole time, and I'm like, cool, I can listen to my music, I can listen to my podcast. What else makes a good travel partner, travel buddy? Maybe not driving, could be on a plane trip or something. What about in your example in your life? When is a time that you've when have you had a good travel partner? Call somebody.
Fun.
They have to be fun. I mean, yeah, okay. So somebody who's fun to be with, and fun means what? They talk, they like the same music as you. Okay. Same things. Okay. So you can talk. It's fun. They're funny. Maybe there's laughing. What else?
They can read a map.
They can read a map or give directions, right? So that I think that's the part where it's being helpful. You know, like, hey, we gotta go back. Wrong way.
Not rush to get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that part of that.
Enjoy it,
Okay.
nature and
Right. So that person that's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? All right. I'm going to talk about just real briefly. Let's talk about these conditional statements. So you guys know the conditional statements, and you've been probably practicing them for a long time. The first conditional we call this real possibility. It's kind of like a future thing, right? And it's real, you know. It's something that's really going to happen. So like today morning, if it rains tomorrow, I will take an umbrella. If you study hard, you can pass the exam. If we leave now, we may arrive on time, right? These are all things that can happen. And so yeah, I think, who was it? I think Marjorie's. If I have enough time, I might go to Colorado. So that's like a real possibility, right? That's not like you're dreaming of something kind of impossible, right? So what do we use? We use just the present simple, right? Can we just use the present simple? If it rains, you know, if I finish. So I think yours would be like, if I finish, if I.
Yeah, I have a question. I wrote that if I could finish.
Right.
Is that right?
So that is like maybe like a unreal possibility. So it wouldn't be correct. So if it's something that's possible, that's going to happen, then you would just say, if I was going to fix it again, but I wanted to just make an example. So let's see. If I could finish my house movements before July, I would go on vacation in Canada this summer. It might mean that like you might not be able to finish it, like it's kind of like an impossible. Okay, but yeah, I would probably say if I finish my house movement before July, I would go. Oh, I will go. Yeah, I will go. Okay. Why? So the next one, so this one's like the easy one. There's another one, it's called the zero condition. Have you guys heard this? Yeah, present, and it's talking about like science and facts, like water freezes. You know, if the water is at 0 degrees or something, it freezes. Right. It's just like the statements of science, you know. What else? Yeah. So we don't really use that in like, unless it's like science-y things. This one's. Oh. Whoops. So yeah, I would say that this one is like the most common, right? Talk about realistic things that will probably happen, right? Even if it's like 50-50, right? The conditions if clause. The second conditional is this hypothetical. We all know hypothetical situations, right? And these are like these games that you might ask each other. I'll send you this link as well. If I won the lottery, so past simple and then plus would, could, or might as well. okay, and your base verb, so verb 1. If I won the lottery, I would travel the world. If she spoke Spanish, she could get that job. Does she speak Spanish? No, right? Can she? Yeah, but how long would it take to like get a job? You're speaking completely in Spanish, right? So like it's possible. I mean, there's like a chance, and it's like very small, right? I mean, we all wish we could win the lottery, right? Yeah, we just use the past simple. If I won the lottery, I would travel the world. If she spoke Spanish, she could get that job. If we had more time, we might visit the museum. And this one kind of says like, sorry, we don't really have that much time, right? If I said if we have more time, we can visit the museum. That's kind of like has a stronger possibility, okay? But a lot of times we think about this as like the dream situation, like if you could go to the International Space Station, you would, I don't think that I'll be able to drive around the United States this year or this summer, but it's possible, and maybe I have to plan it for the future, right? So this is going to be the past simple, would, could, might, plus your base verb. And then I think the one that you had written originally, the last one is this impossible thing, okay? And it's a past. So this is like the past situations. And I call this like the regret or the time machine. You guys know the time machine? Okay, like, if you could go back in time and change something, you would do that. If you could, I don't know, what do people always want to do? Go back and, I don't know, kill Hitler or something. I don't know. Like that. There's always some weird. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. Can you change this? No, right? It's already happened. It's it's talking about regrets. It's and we're using past perfect. So past perfect is more past than past simple, right? That's how we think about past perfect sometimes. It goes from present to past simple to like past perfect is more past, than even the past, right? So all of these have that had and your verb 3, right? So past perfect, had, just had, plus verb 3. So if I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. If she had caught the earlier train, she could have made the meeting, but she didn't, and it's never going to change unless there's like a multiverse or a time machine, right? If she hadn't taken that shortcut, we might have avoided the traffic, right? So we're talking about your road trip buddy. If you had told me earlier, I wouldn't have gone the wrong way. You don't want that person in your car that's like, if you had stopped, or if you had driven slower, we wouldn't have a speeding ticket now or something, right? You don't want that person in the car with you. But yeah, third conditional deals with regrets or speculations. You trying to think about the past. If I had studied, if I had like met this person, I would have done something. If I had studied harder, I would have been a doctor or something, right? You think this is a good one? Like it's. I always think regrets are good. Makes you do something better, right? So yeah, we have I would call like the future, the real possibility. We're thinking about the future. We're using these future tenses, will, can. There's possibilities in can and may. This one is kind of, I would still say the future, right? But it's more of like a dreaming kind of a thing. You're dreaming about something, and we use this would, to talk about like hypothetical situations. I would do this. I would do that if I had money. I don't know. If I didn't have to work, I would read all day. I would watch videos and read and talk to people all day. If she spoke Spanish, she could get that job, right? And the last one is this idea of the past. So be careful when you use this one, because it means that it had happened. So if you had said, if I had finished cleaning or did my house movements, what is movements, house movements? The moving?
Yeah, moving.
Oh, moving. Oh, okay. We don't say, we just say move.
Just move.
Yeah.
Can be a noun, so not movement. Move can be a noun.
Yeah, because you could say like there's a big move happening, like I'm gonna move, I'm going to move. That's a verb. Yeah, but
If I want to express I finished the move
yeah, you could say I finished the move.
or I finished the moving, which one?
I would say just the move.
Just move.
Yeah. So where's that one again? Yeah, so if I could finish, if I finish my house move before July, or you could say if I move, right? If I finish moving, if I move, so finish moving is okay, because that's like the gerund. If I could finish, let me write that out. If I finish moving before July, and I'll just before, whoops, I don't need the comma, blah blah blah. If I move, if I move, there's no I, sorry. If I move before July, that's fine too. You could say like, I don't know if we say we wouldn't say the house move, but the company, yeah, company move.
Moving house. Is this the switch? Moving house.
Yeah.
I feel confused because if
Yeah.
I just say moving, it's not like move all the house things to another, just like a person move.
Right. I know, but so I think the context, if you're like, if you say I'm moving from, Saddleback to Irvine, I would understand, as an English speaker, I would understand, yeah, the house, not you. Like, you're not just like, hey guys, I'm moving to, to the next room, right? That means like you're walking or right? But I think in the context, if you're talking about like houses and cities, and if you say I moved from blah 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 to, then I would always think that you're talking about your house. Yeah. So yeah, there's a thing about that word move that's connected to house and everything like that. All right. So we'll talk more about the conditionals. We'll kind of do this as micro lessons. Yeah. Any questions about that? If you didn't have a chance, if you're just coming in, we were talking about summer dreams. If you could do anything this summer, what would you do? Okay. Questions? We'll come back to that. I'll give you this information. We'll have a small part as part of our test, which is our final will be on May 19th. Okay. For this class, it's on the Monday of the finals week, and it'll be from 10:30 to 12:30. It won't be the full 2 hours, don't worry. You won't be sitting here. Yeah, we'll have a final test. We'll have it on paper. Yeah. I don't like doing that phone thing, especially for tests, because I know a lot of teachers don't like grading anymore, but I also think it's difficult for students to take a test on a phone. So yeah. So there will be like multiple choice questions, fill in the blank, and then a short essay about a topic. Okay, so all of the things that we've done in the class, and not the whole book. And I'll give you like information about what we'll be doing and some practice questions. So probably I'll do that next week. We'll do some review. And then we said next week on Wednesday. What day is that? we'll have a little party after the break or during the break. Okay? Which day is that? That's the 14th, right? So we'll just have a little gathering to congratulate and to celebrate all the things that we've done in this class. Okay? And yeah, finish. We'll celebrate my first semester at Saddleback. All right, let's go back into this, okay? So yeah, we talked about definite, that's not it. We talked about the definite and indefinite articles. And they are hard, and they will confuse you. But yeah, let's answer some of these questions. So if you could reread, if you need to reread this part, we're on page 178, 179. Let's answer these questions, and then this part on the reading, and then I want to just kind of draw a chart to help you think about definite and indefinite articles. Okay, so I think we listened to this last time. If you want to reread that, go ahead. Finish vocabulary. I'll give you 10 minutes. I'll give you 8 minutes. And we'll talk about if you need the book, it is right there. Let me take the roll and pass that journals. No Vincent today. You're welcome. You're welcome. Jason, nope. Stephanie. No Vincent. No Anastasia. Raj is gone. Dead. All right, my battery's dead, but let's check these answers. We'll look at the grammar quickly, and then we'll continue on until the break. Number one, let's start over. Yuji, number one. Can you read it for me? D, disappear. Whoops. So D, disappeared, vanish. Another word for vanish is disappear. You guys know that. Any other words? No. So vanish would be something that goes missing. Ladon, number two.
Some animals have been extinct from considerable time with age.
Long or
Long,
extensive. Yeah. So for a long time, an extensive time. What does extensive mean? Right. What? So yeah, the word like to extend, right? To make something longer is to extend something. We can extend the time of class. No, we can't. Number three, Carrie.
Therefore, the situation is not complex. Is the G inspired effect?
in spite of that. G, okay. Oops, that's G. Nevertheless, the situation is not hopeless. That is not, that's too big. Hold on. All right, number 4. Lourdes, can you read it for me?
A ban of whaling was instituted so it's introduced.
Introduce E. So a ban on whaling was instituted decades ago. And this word has like a very strong, like, not political, like a government meaning, right? The government instituted a new law. This person instituted something. The school instituted a new policy on, on AI or plagiarism or cheating or something, right? But yeah, it means to institute. What does the word ban mean? Forbidden?
It turns off, maybe. It turns off.
Turns off? Wait, what?
Like
This one, no. Is it a noun? How do we know? This one's a noun, yes. To prevent something, right. So it means to stop something, a ban, right? Ban. So it can be a noun and it can be a verb as well. The blah, blah, blah. Smoking is banned on campus, right? Who banned it? The school did, right? That's a passive. Something is banned. We use that a lot, right? You'll hear that a lot. Something is banned means that, somebody, the company, the organization.
President Trump banned immigration.
Yeah, banned immigration to America. I don't know. Yeah. Right. But yeah, we often use that word if we use it as the passive tense, right? Smoking is banned.
I usually feel confused about the ban and prohibited.
It's similar. It's this ban. They're both 100%. No, you can't do it, right?
So I can use both of them.
You can use both of them. Yeah, and this one is like you can also prohibition. Let me find that. Hold on. So the word prohibition, prohibit. Means to like not allow somebody. So they're the same. I would say that prohibit is kind of more of a more academic, right? And prohibit is the noun, or sorry, the verb, right? And we can also use the word prohibition. So, do you know in America you used to not be able to drink alcohol, and there was a prohibition on something. Prohibition on blah, blah, blah. That's kind of how we use that. Nice. Thank you. Let's see. Lee, can you do number 5?
There is still a problem of biases in diversity. I choose
C, for variety. Okay? Variety. And this word is species. Species. There's still a problem of species diversity. Okay? And I think what the government has banned the word diversity now. Oh, gosh. Number 6, Sissy.
the most crucial aspect is loss of habitat. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Choose B.
B.
Important.
Extremely important. So the word crucial, if something is crucial, it's like it's vital. Yeah, it's so important that like without it you would die or something. The word is loss. Okay, so we have the word to lose is a verb. Okay, and the word loss is a noun. And why? So there's this, that magic E rule makes this kind of the long vowel, oo. But that's a U, see? Doesn't always work. Okay. And yeah, usually we have that short vowel sound with like one vowel. This would be aw, loss. Number 7, Carolina.
7 strategies have been suggested. Letter A, plan of action.
Plans of action. So strategies are different ways we do something, different methods, different approaches. They say. Number 8, Izumi. Development. F, to limit, right? So yeah, if you restrict something, you're limiting it. I think limits are good. Limits are good. Okay, let's check the comprehension. So if you find it false or no, tell me where you found it in the book, okay? Find the part. So makes it a little bit more hard. Yibin, number 1.
More than 18,000 species are believed to be in danger of extinction. That's true.
True. Right. Okay. Where do we find that? We can find it right up there. Today, more than 18,000 species. Right. Number 2. First paragraph. Today, more than 18,000 species are thought to be in danger of extinction. It's right there. Jin Hong, number 2.
About 1/4 of the world's species have disappeared since 1970.
Okay.
False?
False. Why?
Because in paragraph 1 it should that today more than 18,000 species.
Because it's one half.
Yeah, estimated about one half have disappeared. So we're talking about this one have disappeared since 1970. Okay. So the answer would be more similar to one half. One half. Okay. Number 3, Fei Zhao. You didn't get there?
Yeah.
Okay. Fereste.
Roach had gone
Extinct.
by the early one.
1600.
It's true because the second
Second
paragraph.
paragraph.
It says
By the early.
yeah.
By the early. So when we say these numbers, like the dates, 1600s, right? And remember that when we talk about these dates like this, these big blocks of dates like the 90s, the 1990s, we always use the with it, right? Good. Shayla, number 4.
The Pacific region once populated the western U.S. and Canada. True.
True?
Yes.
Where can you find that?
Historically populated the eastern U.S. and Canada.
Okay. Is that Eastern or Western?
Eastern.
Okay. So what's the false part then? Western, right? So it's not Western, it's going to be Eastern, which would make it false. Okay. Marjorie, number 5.
At the present, the mountain gorilla is considered vulnerable. Is true.
True?
Yes.
Not.
Where can you find that?
In the 3rd paragraph,
What does it say?
it says there are three significant categories: critically endangered, and vulnerable. Those are considered critical and endangered, including the mountain gorilla.
Right. So critically is different from vulnerable. So it's going to be false. So there's 3 categories. The first one is critically endangered, like they're going to disappear soon. Endangered, they're nearly. Vulnerable is they're going to get on the list soon. Okay.
Endangered and not vulnerable.
Yeah, so they are, this is going to be false, and it's not considered vulnerable. They are critically, so what does critical mean? Extremely important or very, 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 right? And danger. It's like you can talk about a critical situation, critically. Okay, Wilson, number 6.
The habitat of a polar bear is in
Southern
certain
hemisphere. True or false?
false.
False. Why?
It's the northern.
It's northern, right? It talks about North America. Where does it talk about that? It talks about it right there, northern North America. So it wouldn't be the southern hemisphere, it'd be the northern. Are there polar bears in Europe? No, right? Or like in Russia? Is there any? No, just in North America. It's interesting. Teresa, number 7. Perfect. Cranes? Crane. Yeah. Crane.
Made part 2. Recovery is full.
It's false? Where can we find that? Whipping crane. Few successful.
Because the reason is human activities.
We're still on 7. So whipping crane. The whipping crane. Right. Blah, blah, blah. Limited recovery. Success in bringing back from the edge of extinction. So yeah, there's like a recovery. So this would be true. Are they completely recovered? No. The word partial means like a part of. Okay. And when we see this kind of that ending, that suffix, it usually is show. Number 8, Marlene.
Human trains is considered the most limited cause of extinction.
True. Let's go find it. Where can we find that information? Not true. Okay. Yeah, it's false. So what is the most? Human activity. And number 1? Right. So the most crucial problem is the loss of habitat caused by the increase of human population. So, in the Amazon, they're cutting down trees to build farms and to make land for cattle and things like that. So the destruction of habitat, it would be the number 1 thing. I mean, human activity, is climate change a human activity? Yeah, but that's just part of it, right? Like we're actually cutting things down. So it's not the most significant human, just say human activity. All right. Let's get into it. Okay. So we have 3 categories, okay? Let me find my thing. We have 3 categories. It's going to be indefinite or non-specific, okay? We're going to have this definite, which is also specific, and then the last thing is called generic, okay? So think about those, hold those three things in your head as we talk about this, okay? If you have a singular count noun, right, something like animal, like a gorilla, the mountain gorilla is an endangered species, right? We're not focusing on the mountain gorilla right now. We're looking at an endangered species, right? And it's saying that out of many endangered species, we're talking about 1, right? And we're not, out of many endangered. generic, a species is a particular type of animal or plant. Here we use the indefinite article, a, right, to talk about a species. Do we have a singular word for species? No, right? So it'd be like one species, two species, three species. We don't change that. That S is like there all the time. Zero article, okay? It lets us talk about things non-specifically, okay? And then generically. So Africa has thousands of animal habitats. Why do we use this? It's because we have this plural. So this one's plural, right? And when we talk about things in like non-specifically, we can say habitats. We can say things like zoos, right, are important. How many zoos are there in California? Right? So we're thinking about like, yeah, I like going to zoos. I like going to museums, right? Let's say, yeah, that's general. I don't know. This one's hard. Africa has thousands of animal habitats. I'm going to say that's general. I don't like this book. I'm going to put this over here. Because we're talking about all habitats, right? I think that, I don't know if this is what I don't like about textbooks. What about water pollution has negative impact on animal habitats? They say it's non-specific. It should be general, right? I'm going to. It's uncountable. We don't say pollutions. So it is a non-count noun. Pollution. I'm going to still say this is generic, though. Water pollution has a negative impact on animal habitats. Are we talking about a specific type of pollution? No. I don't like that. Proper nouns. Okay, so Mr. somebody, the name of something, continents, countries, cities. We don't use an article with that. I gotta change this book. Definite article, okay? Specific things. The singular noun. Our zoo recently acquired a polar bear. So when you introduce something for the first time, we use a, right? So first time you introduce. First introduction. Okay. And then the second introduction, we use the. Whoops. Okay. Now we know that there's a polar bear. The polar bear it acquired. What is it referring to? Who's it? Or what is it in this sentence? No.
What means it?
Yeah. What does it refer to, we say? The polar bear it acquired is gigantic. The zoo, right? The zoo. So this kind of connects right there. The polar bear it acquired. We can say it acquired a gigantic polar bear, right? But this one says the polar bear it acquired is gigantic. It's the largest animal in the zoo. Why do we use the here? I think we talked about this last week. Largest, right? What do we call this word? These EST words? Does anybody remember? Superlative. Okay, so these are what we call, let me move that over here. Superlatives. Okay, so anytime something is like the most, the strongest, the largest, okay, we always have to use the with that one. Okay, we talk about something generic. The polar bear is a vulnerable species. Okay. Do we have an S on this one? No. Okay. So we can use the plus a singular count noun. Okay. Plural count nouns, the rainforest in South America are being cut down. This one's being specific, right? It's not talking about all rainforests. There are rainforests in other parts of the world, including like Indonesia and Malaysia and things like that, right? But this one's talking about the rainforest in South America. We're being very specific in this one. So that's proper use. If we say we need to protect the rainforest, we're talking about all rainforests, right? And we have to protect them because they have lots of trees and they provide, this carbon thing. We don't even have to use the word anywhere. Does anybody know what poaching means? To kill animals, right? I would say to hunt animals, because you don't just kill them, right? You're actually taking their parts. What's another definition for poaching? Does anybody know the other word? We use it. It's something you might do at home. Yeah, poached eggs. So poaching also means to like kind of boil something. Yeah, so when we poach an egg or we poach an animal, one meaning is to like illegally hunt, okay? So this could mean illegally hunting. By illegal hunting. It's taking animal by illegal hunting. What the? It's right there. Proper nouns, okay? We use it with these things. What are these? The Sahara, it's a desert, right? The pyramids, and sailed down the Nile. What is the Nile? It's a river, right? So with things like deserts, rivers, geographical, these are like geographical things. Do we use it with Miss Rodriguez? No, we don't use the, right? All right. So nouns can be indefinite or definite. We use indefinite nouns. Indefinite nouns can be nonspecific or generic. Oh my gosh. A wolf is a wild animal. Okay. Is this generic? Right. Can we change it to something else? Is there another way we can make a generic statement? We can also say wolves. Okay. What else could we use? We can also say the wolf. These are all generic. Such a weird language. Okay. So all of those work. A wolf is a wild animal. Wolves are, a wild animal. The wolf is a wild animal. Right? And we're not talking about a specific one. We're talking about a generic one. And generic, what does generic mean? Indefinite nouns can be nonspecific or generic. A noun is nonspecific when it is one out of many. Okay? So let's say these are all the wolves in the world, and we're just talking about this group. Okay? So let's say this is wolf, and this is like in North America, or I don't know, in California. Are there wolves in California? Right? So we have all of something. We're talking about a non-specific one, right? This one is going to be the general one, and then we're kind of going deeper. We're kind of categorizing. We're cutting off the piece a little. A noun is non-specific when it's out of many. A noun is generic when it represents all members of a class or category of persons, place, or things. Generic nouns talk about things in general, okay? So this, I don't know, let me make, this is like the generic part. Okay, and this would be I want to make it even smaller, right? So this one's the non-specific. And let's say you had like one little one right there. And we're talking about the wolf. Okay? We can just have one out of a non-specific, right? So we're just going further and further. And so we go from generic, non-specific, to like very specific. The wolf, I don't know, ate my dog or something, right? We're talking about one specific wolf, right? So we can say something like wolves, are predators, like, they're similar to dogs. There are wolves in California. And then we can say something like a wolf came and ate my dog. The wolf was very angry or hungry or something like that, right? So when we use articles, it helps us to go from kind of this big idea to something smaller and then to something very, very specific. Okay, let me just finish this part and we can take a break. So yeah, we saw a gigantic lion on today's excursion. Okay, we also saw a giraffe, right? Nobody cares which giraffe it was. Like we're not looking at the giraffe and saying, "Oh, which giraffe?" Right? You're talking about non-specifically. You didn't see all the giraffes in the world. You saw a giraffe. It was non-specific. It wasn't important. Okay. Giraffes are native to the African continent. Is this generic? Are we talking about all giraffes? Yeah, right? So this is like a generic one. Lions normally have tawny yellow coats. Generic, right? We're talking about all lions. Normally, right? And that word is really important when we say things like usually, normally, because sometimes there are like weird color lions, like, they might be darker or whitish. We use definite articles when we know which particular person, place, or thing is being talked about. So the food we had for lunch was terrible, okay? We're talking about something specific. It was like a certain meal. Maybe it was spaghetti or something like that. It's very, very specific, right? So these, what we call specific. Okay. The island used to be the habitat of many animals. Okay. Which island? It's specific, right? And if we were talking about it before, maybe it's an island in the Caribbean or something like that, right? We're talking about one specific island. And if we change it to the islands, it could still be specific. Okay, last one. A noun or noun phrase is normally definite if you can ask a which question about it. So nouns of this type are often followed by a phrase of which food was terrible? The food we had for lunch was terrible. Which country is Nairobi the capital of? Nairobi is the capital of Kenya. Okay. And the last thing, a noun is often indefinite the first time we mention it. Okay. And it usually definite after the first mention. So I'm reading about an endangered animal. Okay. The animal lives in West Africa, right? So when we talk about it originally, the first time, initially, we use the term we use the indefinite article, and then we make it definite. Okay, so the same thing as I saw a man, the man was blah, blah, blah. I met a man this week, the man was a famous musician or something like that. Okay? All right, let's take a break. We'll come back to this. Figure out how to explain this. Take a 15-minute break. And yeah. The wolves.
You mentioned wolves is okay. The wolf is okay.
No,
wolf.
not the wolves. The
Not
wolf.
wolves.
The wolf.
The wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the wolves.
I just
Does
curious because there is generic and they use as and the.
To protect the rainforest. Gosh. I'm sorry. Let me look at this. Why the wolves?
So confused.
I'm confused too. I guess you could. When can we use the plural? Let's see. Okay. I would say rainforest. I need to protect the wolves. And the wolves in the world become specific. I don't like that. I don't like the way I don't like her back. Took a break. Let's do silent reading because I need some silence. Silent reading, 15 minutes. We'll get back into articles. Need you on. All right. Let's get back. The rainforest. So yeah, this book has, I'm going to call it things I don't agree with. We need to protect the rainforest, or the rainforests. The polar bear is a vulnerable species, right? We're talking about all polar bears. The polar bears are a vulnerable species. So I'm going to agree with this. If you want to make it generic, you can't use the S. Because then it becomes like remember that example we used, the children? So if I said children need 8 hours of sleep, I'm talking about all children, right? If I say a child needs 8 hours of sleep, then you think all of them, right? But if I say the children, and that's plural, right? Children, child, children. Then I'm speaking about like 5 children, So thank you for pointing that out. We need to protect the rainforest everywhere. Is generic, okay? But if we say we need to protect the rainforests everywhere, then we're actually talking about on Earth, right? So it is kind of specific. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with my thing and say a wolf is generic. Wolves, with no the, are a wild animal, is generic. The wolf is a wild animal. Those are the ones that would be generic. And that means that we're talking about all wolves everywhere, all the time, anytime, right? Okay. Yeah. I don't like this book. Sometimes. I like it sometimes. Indefinite articles, an. Our city needs a good zoo. Our city needs a good zoo. Any zoo will do, I guess. If we wanted to be, our city needs a good zoo. If we wanted to be, we could also say our city needs good zoos, right? If we want more than one zoo. She wants to be an anthropologist, so this is the thing we talked about with jobs, right? So when we talk about jobs, we need to use the indefinite article. Zero article. This one's always fun to talk about. No article with indefinite plural count nouns. These are so many words. Indefinite non-count nouns, names of people, names of most countries, and habitual locations. Habitual locations, yeah. That's the word they use. Okay, indefinite plural count nouns. This area used to have wild animals. Okay. This is generic, right? This is what this thing, the wild animals, generic. Right? We're not speaking about specific ones. We're speaking about, this supermarket has strawberries, right? We're not speaking about we're talking about just in general, this thing called strawberries that exist in the world. That makes it difficult. Platinum and gold are valuable minerals. That's generic?
Yeah.
Right, we're talking about all of it that ever existed, that will exist. This is also generic. Jama, Mr. Jama is a zoologist. Mr. Jama it's just a name, right? We call that a proper noun, right? Whenever, I'm going to call that a proper noun. Oh, I can't write. Sorry. Proper noun. There we go. Ngorongo crater is found in Tanzania. That's a what? What is Tanzania? Tanzania. It's a country, right? And that's also a proper noun. Okay, people spend most of their time at work, at school, or at home. So yeah, we just say, I'm going to work, right? We don't say to the work. We don't say, I'm going to the home, right? And then same thing with school. I'm going to school. I'm at school. What does that mean? I guess I... Is it specific? I'm going to school. What school do you go to? I mean, it's your school. But it's Saddleback, right?
If you say the name of the school,
Then it's different, right? Then it would be I'm going to Saddleback College. I know, but it's kind of like saying you never have to say my home, right? You just say home. I'm going home. I'm going to my home. And that means that you're instead of somebody else's home, right? Like if I ever said I'm going to my home, then you would think, oh, instead of somebody else's home, right? So you don't, these are like, I think they're almost, I think of them as adverbs. It's almost like this thing. I am, I'm going to work. Work, how's work? Right? Do we ever say, how's your work? How's the work? Okay? If you say, how's the work, then it maybe is like a specific job that you're doing. It's very, very specific, right? How's school? Yeah, it's like very general, but it's very specific too. Because when I say, how's school, then you know what school I'm talking about. Yeah, it's your school, but it's Saddleback or whatever university you're studying at. If you're a high school student, and then I ask them how's school, they would say I'm studying, I hate school or something, right? These are like very weird and special, okay? But yeah, whenever we use the word home, we don't usually say the home, a home, unless we're talking about, people want to find a home. So confusing, I know. Definite article in a variety of different situations. Use the with non-count nouns and singular. Does this make any sense to you guys? No. I don't think books describe this very well. The food we had for lunch was terrible. We're talking about specific food, right? I'm just going to use the word specific. Let's just do SP for specific. The island used to be the habitat of many animals. Did we do this already? No. They're just repeating. The animals who lived there have become extinct. It's specific, right? We're not talking about all animals. On this specific island, there are specific animals that are now extinct. The world, okay? This is what? Is this specific? It's like very specific, right? And I'm going to call this one like unique. How many suns do we have? One. And in our world, right? We don't know of any others. We know suns exist because we see them. They're stars, right? But when we talk about the sun, we're talking about this thing, right? When you talk about, very unique. The sun gives us light and energy. This with superlatives, things like that. These are also, I'm going to say, unique things, right? This is a comparative. So when we're comparing things, this is a superlative. When we have the super, I should make you guys do this. The wheel, we can also use to talk about the following categories. So things like inventions, the piano, we talked about instruments, the brain, parts of the body, the heart. Do we say hearts? No. Huh? City? The piano, the wheel, the phone, the telephone. I guess, okay. When we talk about it as an invention. This is also used the following public places: the bank, the post office, the library, the gym. Do we say with City Hall? We just say City Hall, right? That's like its name, City Hall. The bank, the post office, the supermarket. If you say, I'm going to the supermarket, do you know which one I'm talking about? No, but it's weird. Oh, God, it's so weird. Can you say, I'm going to a supermarket? Yeah. Right? But if I say, I'm going to the market, does your mom know, or your friend or partner know which one?
At least I know.
You know.
Yeah.
Right. So you know.
It's specific.
Right. But could you say, I'm going to a supermarket? Yeah, you could. Right? I feel like because these things, I'm going to say are institutions. I'm going to the gym. It could be any gym, but it's your gym. You know which gym it is. Names of geographical features, the Grand Canyon, the Congo River, the Pacific Ocean, the Persian Gulf, the Atlas Mountains, except what? We can't use this for lakes. Okay, so we don't say the Lake Michigan. We say Lake Michigan. Okay, so you can't use it with lakes. It's not the. Let me do that again. How many rules are there? A lot? There's too many rules. We don't use it with lakes. Okay. Again, names of a few countries. What kind of countries? When they're like a collection of something, right? Right. So the Netherlands is the Netherlands Kingdom. The United States, they're the states united together. The Dominican Republic, the Bahamas is what? Like the Philippines, it's a bunch of islands, right? The United Kingdom, bunch of kingdoms. The name of ships. Yeah. The Titanic, the Queen Mary, the USS something, the name of spaceships too, I guess. The Challenger, the. It's unique. I know, but like, what about, okay, the Empire State Building, what's another building? The Sears Tower, they are unique. But you're unique. And I don't call you okay. So maybe not ships, like vehicles, if their vehicle has a special name. Like Batman, what does he drive? What does Batman drive? What's his vehicle called? Yeah. Anybody know? It's the Batmobile. The Batmobile? What's another vehicle that you know of, a famous one? The History Machine? The Mystery Machine. Okay. What else? I guess, yeah. If it's from the book, right? The Time Machine. You can have a time machine. But that's not specific, right? But the Mystery Machine is specific. Yeah, the DeLorean. Right, and the car is just, get to the DeLorean. It's always the DeLorean, right? The name of that car, the DeLorean. Okay, last part. There are 5 principal ways to use nouns generically. Okay, we can use. Did they do? See this one. Okay, the first one you can do is a whale. I'm going to argue with this book. You can do no article, 0 article, and plural, dogs, right? Or whales, are domestic animals related to wolves and foxes. The definite article plus the singular, the mountain gorilla is considered critically threatened. Okay, so we can kind of use them all, right? Mountain gorillas. Sorry, a mountain gorilla. No. Why do we do this one, guys? I feel like it's only when we give a definition of it. A whale is a large marine mammal. And I could say whales are large marine mammals. But I wouldn't say the whale. I would. No, they're all okay. The whale is a large marine mammal. Okay. Why this one, though? Definite article plus plural count noun. So the whooping cranes are making a comeback. A whooping crane is making a comeback. No, that would just be one. whooping cranes are making a, that makes sense to me. The whooping crane is making a comeback. The whooping cranes, this is specific. I don't like that.
Cranes is the noun, right?
Yeah. I think this is, if I said the whooping cranes with an S, I feel like I'm talking about specifically in the United States or somewhere specific. I would say the whooping crane is making a comeback, right? The bald eagle has made a comeback. We're talking about all bald eagles. The bald eagle. Bald eagles have made a comeback. All right, zero article plus non-count nouns. Water is essential for survival of animals, humans, and plants. We talked about this, definite article plus adjective. So we can turn something like an adjective. The rich are fortunate. They need help. They need to help the poor who are not so fortunate, right? The beautiful. Oh, has anybody watched this movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that movie? Everybody else? It's like an old Western movie. What happened to my... Who's the main character or the actor? Clint, the Good. So yeah, there's a famous Western movie with, what's his name? Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood.
Okay, and the title of the movie is The Good. Right. And it's talking about people, right? Okay? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay? And it's talking about a group of people. That's old Clint Eastwood. It's a Western movie. It's a Western movie. But yeah, he's talking about the good people, the bad people, and the ugly people. We can just kind of say something like that. The rich, the poor. I don't know if you've heard in protest. I'm going to get political. They say, eat the rich, you know? Have you heard this before? Yeah. Yeah. Eat the rich. The poor, the rich. Yeah, so when we use it like this, we can, and I'm going to say that they have to be adjectives that you can compare, right? Because the rich are, you can compare those to everybody else. The ugly, you can compare. The good, you can compare to the bad, you know? Yeah, so those kind of adjectives we can use for that. Let's take a little fun quiz to make our brains feel a little better. Let's do this real quick. And yeah, like I said, these are really difficult. They'll take a long time. What I want you to do is just kind of practice until we get them. Don't memorize all the rules. Learn the rules. Get familiar with them. Oh, why? You can use my charger. Yeah, if you ever need a charger in class, what kind of phone do you have? iPhone?
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
I just got cables. Thousands of cables.
How many?
I have thousands of cables. I'm a lifesaver. If you ever need a phone charge, let me know. So go ahead, just take that quiz. Just a little practice. I think it covers most of the things. Oh. I'm going to make these notes better for you too. How are you supposed to learn? the whooping cranes. See, why would I do that? The whooping crane. I didn't make this quiz, but I think it's all right. The MRI machine uses the tiger, don't use the. I have just writing down the answers. All right. If you're finished, great. Let's think about, is it general, is it definite, like specific, or is it non-specific, indefinite? Okay, so number one, do you want blank sandwich? I've got cheese and bread in the shopping bag. A. Why is it A? Is it specific? No. Right? Yeah, because it's not like, hey, I have a sandwich. Do you want the sandwich? Right? Have you made the sandwich yet? No, right? It can be any sandwich in the world, but it hasn't become specific yet, right? It's almost like it hasn't been made. Just like when you say, I want a jacket, you're thinking about a jacket. You haven't bought the jacket. It hasn't become the jacket yet. Okay, so it's almost like it's forming. And we just use right? There's no vowels on this one. So that one is non-specific. She wants to be she wants to be ambulance driver. Sorry. And there you go. This, let me go back. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Is this specific, non-specific, general? I want to say this is general, right? Out of all the ambulance drivers and all of the world and all of the universes, so if I'm a teacher, right? And remember, we can use with just, this. It sounds non-specific, but this one is going to be general, right? Okay, next one. Everybody said the why it's unique. It's only one of its kind. I really hate nothing, right? So here we have, and this is why I don't agree with your book, because if I said I hate the mosquitoes, then I'm actually talking about like maybe the ones in my backyard, right? But maybe I like the ones at your house. I don't or the ones in like, I don't know, in Mexico are better than the one, like, does anybody know? You hate all of them, right? They're all terrible, blah, blah, blah. We have the plural here. And so, yeah, if we don't put anything on it, and this is why I disagree with the book, and, I think you're right with this one, is that you just need 0, okay? If you need to contact me over the weekend, please send me email, okay? Has it been created yet? Has it formed? Right. It could be any email. I mean, it's going to be the one you send. But once you talk about the email, hey, did you get the email last night? Right? Then it's something that we both have a knowledge about. We both were sent the email. Hey, did you read the email from the boss? And you're like, yeah, right? Because it was specific. This one is going to be an, right? Because it's a vowel sound, email. I'm a fun-loving person. I love nothing, right? Because we're in general likes parties and dancing. I love dancing. I love the dancing. I'll be there. Okay. So we're talking about like rates of time, or even like units of something, like a kilo of something, $5 a kilo an hour. It's not ha, right? It's not hour. That's a vowel sound, hour. The email was about urgent matter. Is it N? Yeah. An urgent matter. The email was about an urgent matter. So we don't know what the email was about yet, right? This one, okay, good. So you guys got the vowel things. Even though it looks like an M, it's pronounced MRI. Uses magnets to take detailed scans of your body. And this is general, specific, non.
MRI is an invention, so I think the dot,
Oh,
so it's not correct.
the MRI machine uses magnetics. I don't like that. Right. I know, but when they talk of the printing press was the most important.
About all machine, not a specific one.
It is not because it's singular and specific MRI machine, only one. That's why it's N.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, your book says that weird thing. I don't think I've ever used that rule before. Your book says there's an invention, the wheel. And I think when they talk about okay, I don't know if I love that. So what I think they're doing here is they're talking about these really big, the one inventions, like the printing press. If I'm talking about like the computer, something that the computer. If I'm talking about the computer, I'm talking about like the invention of a computer. If I'm talking about the wheel, right? But if I'm saying wheels, then wheels are part of a car. Wheels help a car move, right? Then I'm talking about generically. This one I'm talking about specifically the wheel. The answer is Anne, right? Okay. The MRI machine uses magnets.
I put A because I thought in the magnetic.
Right. So no, when you say this word is going to be because of the sound, right? So the same thing with our, and the same thing with I think my example was SUV, MBA as well. Yeah, I got an MBA. But why can't it be the? Because I think if you said the, it would sound specific to me here. I don't like the wheel. But yeah, maybe it's a phrase. The wheel, the printing press. We don't say printing press is the first invention. I think because we're talking about the first time it was made, right? The wheel was invented thousands of years ago. I can't explain all these. I'm so sorry.
But I think that you're describe about the machine, you know? But the specific one, you're talking
Yeah,
about
this one is
general.
generic.
Yeah, generally you can, describe about
I know, but it's like if you can say tigers are, like are cats, then you can say a tiger is a cat. Then you can say the tiger is a cat, and that all works. But the MRI machine, yeah, I mean definitely. I want to, yeah, this. I want to look at that. I don't like using the when I'm talking about generic things. There's something weird about when people say the tiger is. I don't know what the use. I'm gonna figure that out. Let me ask the world. It would be helpful to have an. Who says an? Who says should be a user manual, right? So U is the Y sound. I think we talked about that last week. Teachers at my son's school are great. Okay. So why is it specific, and how do we know? Right. Yeah. So it's not all teachers. It's specifically at that school. I think this is a better way of learning this. Okay, we went to. Why? This one has that rule. It's like institute or public place. We went to the aquarium. Even though there could be two aquariums, we just, it's just like I went to the park. The park, right? We always say the park. Do we say a park? No. We can, but it's almost like a phrase. I went to the park yesterday. Where did you go? I went to the beach. And how many beaches are in Southern California? A lot. But when you say the beach, it's almost like the idea of the beach is I'm swimming, I'm in the sand, right? It's an idea almost, right? I went to the aquarium. It's confusing for me now. I mean, I'm sorry. I feel so lost trying to teach you this. So I'll put this together. This one is, it has something to do with just the idea, the invention of it.
Because it's in the past?
I mean, MRI machines are in the past, but I think it's like, this idea is that it's the first one ever made almost, Like I wouldn't, like
I think that the wheel is a part of vehicle.
Right.
So it's a specific part of,
No, I know, but I can say, yeah, my car has 4 wheels. And then I can say, wheels.
This is a small part of the vehicle. So
No, I think this is like, it's like if you said the. No, because I feel like this now is not, we're not talking about wheel. We're not talking about what's on your car. We're talking about like the idea of the wheel, right? Yeah, and I would say that specifically it's an invention. The light bulb, right?
But I think that we have something like this, the paper of the book. So this is a part of.
Right. I know. But yeah, I wouldn't say the paper,
I mean,
the invention of the paper.
smaller part of the thing.
Yeah, I don't know about. Yeah, no, I think this has specifically to do with like this. When I say like the telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell, you know, it's the idea of this thing. It's not specifically the wheel, right? Strange. Okay. Let's do the rest for homework, yeah? Okay. 'Cause our brains are fried. I'm going to put together some better notes for this that are a lot more organized, that'll help. Because I don't like the way the book describes all of these terms like non-specific, and you need to know them, but let's come back to that. I'm going to skip this. So let's go to conclusion paragraphs. We have just a bit of time to talk about this. So Wednesday, your essays are going to be due. You can turn them in at midnight, or if you turn them in late, it's fine as well. Okay, just make sure you turn it in by Friday. Okay, so I can grade it, and then I want to be able to give it back to you by next week. Whether or not you think it's perfect, it's fine. You'll get feedback, and we can talk about it more if you can submit something. Okay, I want to talk about. It's one of the assignment for week 15. So we did the introduction. Let's go over here. We did the introduction. You're looking at your assignments. We took that introduction, we made it better. We have a thesis statement. Your thesis statement's about coping strategies for uncertainty, right? So you chose like 3 strategies. Some of them is, focus on things, focus on what you can, change what you can, what other things, improving your mental health, exercise, okay? And then now I want you to write the whole essay, okay? So if you're looking at week 15 assignment, I put all the information I possibly could. It might seem like a lot. You can watch the video where I describe as much as I can. And yeah, usually when I make an assignment, I try to describe as much detail as possible for you and give you examples. And the video is where we were skipping that. We're going to come back to body. We were talking about body paragraphs in the class. Okay. A little brainstorming thing that we did. It's kind of hard to read there. But ways that you can kind of start to organize your ideas and come up with the strategies that you think are important. Okay. I said it's due on Wednesday. Do you guys want it due on Friday? Doesn't really matter. I mean, you can always do anything late, but let's just say Friday. Okay, I'll change the date on this. All right. What I want to talk about, the last part, is about conclusions. Okay, so after you write everything, all of your things, okay, talk about conclusions. Again, good writing is rewriting, so never stop rewriting things. Essay conclusion. All right, so in conclusion paragraph, it summarizes and restates the thesis statement, okay? Whatever your thesis statement was, and it's something similar to what? Does anybody want to tell me their thesis statement? If they can think it up in the top of their heads. Something like, despite uncertainty in the world, there are 3 ways that we can fight uncertainty. A, B, and C, right? That's your whole idea behind your essay. Whenever you write something, that's kind of your map, your framework, the way that you kind of organize your ideas, right? Your conclusion paragraph is summarizing all of that information and restating your thesis statement. So it's the final paragraph in your essay. Okay? So at the end, instead of just finishing with the new idea, you're actually going to go back to everything. Your reader is stupid. You want to remind them what they just read, because they forgot. They just read 4 paragraphs, and then, what did I read? Okay? And part of this is, I think, important to education in general, is you learn something, and it's not until you hear it again, see it again, say it again, that you actually can remember it, right? It's not like you have a bad memory. We have so much information. It's the moment that your brain gets kind of triggered that we get the new idea. The idea sticks to our brain. The conclusion paragraph has 3 purposes, okay? First thing is just to tell you it's the end, okay? And you can do something like in conclusion. You don't have to, okay? But you can summarize or rephrase your thesis statement. Number 2, it reminds your reader of your main points, okay? Again, your reader is not the smartest person in the world. He's very forgetful. You just want to remind them of what they read. So you can do this with a summary of your subtopic. So you can mention those 3 things, A, and then B, and then C again, right? And then you also want to restate your thesis statement in a different way. So, these 3 methods, blah, 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 A, B, and C, can help people cope with uncertainty in this time, at this time, or something.
Which one is correct? Staying at present or staying present?
Staying present.
Staying present.
Yeah, at the present would be like right now. Being present means that you're like thinking about, yeah. It leaves your reader with your final thoughts on the topic. So this is where you can kind of give your opinion, or you can give something I call the call to action, okay? Something like, so you should go do this, right? It's almost like a sales pitch if you're reading a commercial. And we do the reverse funnel now. So remember in the introduction, we went from like general to specific to your thesis statement. In the conclusion, you kind of go the opposite way. So you start from the specific, restate your thesis statement, So you said all your things, you have your 3 body paragraphs. You get here, you restate your thesis statement, specific, right? And then you kind of go a little bit more, you summarize your essay, you talk about the different things you talked about, and a way you can do this is kind of restating your topic sentences. Take your topic sentences, change them around a little bit, reintroduce them back to your reader, okay? And then go back to introduce general information, So general information for your essay would be something like, the world is uncertain. There's a lot of moving pieces. Things are changing, the situation in different countries. So now you're going really general again, right? And you finish with the final thought. And that's up to you. That's kind of where you have the power to be creative. You can do something like this, what I call the call to action. And you can make it a suggestion, something somebody should do, So you should do this. You should follow these steps, right? You can make a request. You can make it a command. Do this, otherwise, right? You can talk about the results. Like if people practice these things, they will have less stress and enjoy life more during these uncertain times. So some of the other final thoughts, we can make a prediction, right? There could be more something. You could have more freedom or more, you could, what would you do if you had less uncertainty? You could, I don't know, you could live a healthier life, right? A more stress-free life. Suggest results or consequences. If you don't do this, this could happen. Okay. Quote an authority. I don't have a quote for this, but If there's somebody who said something important, you can maybe quote somebody as a way to finish. As this person says, our mental health is the most important part of our existence. I don't know. And the last thing would be something like, I call this call to action. So make people do something, If you're talking about climate change or something, then do your research and, buy less plastic or whatever your thing is going to be. Okay? So yeah, just to do something. So your final thoughts could be any of those things. Okay? If we do not act now, something will happen, If you don't take care of uncertainty, this will happen, right? Here's a little example of a conclusion. Go ahead and read it. And then after you read it, what do you think are the body paragraphs about?
Communication and learning.
Student-centered learning. But then what are the body paragraphs? I guess I should ask what's the thesis? What do you think the thesis sentence should be first?
Student-centered methods.
Yeah, the methods. Which ones are they? So the topic is student-centered methods, right? The specific thing would become the what? Okay, inquiry. And project-based learning. Let me put the dash there. Yeah, so those are the three methods for what? Three kinds of? Right. Okay, so that would be our topic. These are the more specific, each body paragraph probably talked about this, right? So we didn't read the introduction or the body paragraphs, but we get an idea, right? You still get an idea from the conclusion of what you read. So if you've never read it, you get an idea. If you read it, you kind of get a little spark, a little remember, right? What is a possible thesis statement for this? So to sum up, student-centered teaching is very important to learning, and there are three kinds. Of. Yeah. So what's our topic? Student-centered teaching, right? Is important to learning. Yeah, and these are the three kinds of student-centered approaches. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. That could be a thesis statement, right? What kind of final thoughts did they use? What's the final thing at the end?
In the end.
Yeah, so in the end, what did they use? Is it like a suggestion maybe? A prediction, right? Usually with prediction, right? Will or can or, will is stronger than might or can, right? It could be a result. It could be a prediction, right? Student-centered will develop stronger critical thinking. It could be the result as well. So result, a prediction of a result, right? Okay. All right. So yeah, that would be your conclusion paragraph example. We just ran out of time. I'm not going to give this to you. So yeah, what I want you to do is with your essay, if you've turned it into me, I'll send it back to you. If you haven't finished your conclusion, go ahead, look at that. And yeah, 5 paragraphs, introduction, 3 body paragraphs, conclusion, a strong thesis statement, okay? And get it to me by Friday. We'll talk about it again on Wednesday. And I want you to double check that you have all of these parts that you need. And yeah, we'll have an essay. Okay. Any questions? No. Great. Thank you very much. Have a great day.